Hello everyone and welcome to my latest video. Before I start, I'd like to thank everybody who watched my video about the epoch crystals and for all the likes and comments that I got. I really appreciate all the support I get because I really have very few subscribers and I'm really impressed that that video got to 1,000 views. So thank you all for watching and I hope you continue to watch more of my content in the future. So today's video is going to be about variant 6, and as you know, Kabam have already announced variant 6 to come out tomorrow or on Thursday, depending on which side or time zone you live in. And variant 6 is going to be focusing on villains with special nodes, and both global and local nodes that will bring benefit to certain villains if you trigger in conditions, as well as favoring all villains in general. So while watching or reading the announcement, it got me thinking, and I realized Venom is going to be a really great champion for Variant 6. And if you're watching this before Variant 6 is out and you're thinking about whether you should rank up Venom or not, I would say if you have a 5-star or 6-star Venom and you want to take him up, I'd say go ahead, because looking at his buffs here, his abilities, most importantly, he is very good against Spider-Verse champs because he can bypass their evade. The evade will never trigger. Tech champions cannot power burn or power drain him. And importantly, when the opponent reaches 18% health or less, his attacks become unblockable, as well as he's able to bypass their evades if they are not Spider-Verse champs, as well as to prevent auto block from triggering. So guys like Iron Man Infinity War, for instance, will never trigger auto block. Medusa, Darkhawk, you get the picture, right? Yes, so he's already a great champ on his own, god tier without a doubt. But in variant 6, I think he's going to be very useful depending on the buffs, that the nodes that are going to be on it. So let's take a look at those nodes. All right. Okay, so we're here now at the forum post announcing it. As we can see here, these are the 3 buffs that are going to be triggered on not triggered. They're going to be on every fight in every quest for variant 6. Now, Venom as a villain, he's going to be able to bypass all of this. But what makes it interesting are the following nodes, right? Mastermind, which increases the duration of bleed, incinerate, and shock. Debuffs on the opponent by 100%. Now, Venom can inflict bleed, and it's a pretty painful bleed as far as I can remember. As long as he crits, he will actually have a high chance of triggering a bleed, whether it's on a basic or special attack. And that's going to be good for him going into the quest, unless, of course, Kabam decides to mess around with you and putting on any bleed immune champs on the path, or even just Omega Red, so that, because you're going to go like, oh look, you can bleed him now. And then Henchman, Venom can trigger Henchman by activating a Fury buff, which will pacify all debuffs that are put on him because of his Clintar mutation, which has a chance of triggering a certain buff every certain amount of seconds. He also, speaking of buffs, is able to trigger the armor buff, which will trigger the Genius buff right here, which allows him to power burn 10% of the opponent's max power on hit or when he blocks. That's pretty good. And, well, let's say you can't get a Fury buff or an armor buff. You can always do a heavy attack, which will remove the last triggered buff and put in a new random buff. And it also lands an armor break debuff, which is important because that will trigger the Madness node, and that applies a passive power lock to the defender, which lasts as long as the armor break is up. Now finally, he can also do a nullify on his special 1. Now this is important because he can then trigger the Overlord node, which allows him to gain a permanent plus 10 position passive to a max of 10. Now I believe this passive, it's a passive, okay. It won't trigger special 3's increased damage. But overall that's a total of 1, 2, 3, let's see, 4, and 5. 5 nodes in total which Venom can benefit from. And that's just for one champion, by the way. So if we go back here, you can see that this tallies with his abilities. As you can see here, he does have Fury and Armor Up, as well as a heavy attack, landing an armor break, and the bleed damage. So all in all, he's already a good champ, and he's going up to become a potential MVP for Variant 6. Now, that covers pretty much everything I need to say for Variant 6 for Venom. Now, I also, please note that the Venom, the Venom's nodes that I just mentioned, the 5 of them, they're not likely to be triggered all at once. They'll probably see like maybe 1 to 2 triggering at once. If you're lucky, 3, but just expect it to be two nodes at most, being able to trigger for Venom. But what is interesting is that Venom is one of a select handful of champions who actually are good options for 3 variants. Venom can be good for Variant 2, Variant 5, and Variant 6. You can also bring him to Variant 4, but that one is limited by the star of your champion, depending on the quest you're doing, so I won't cover that. And Variant 1 has class limitations, which I have not done, so I will not comment on it. Variant 2, because, as you can see under his attributes, he is an... hold on, where is it? No, it's not here. Hold on, where is this? His tags here. Okay, sorry about that. He's an XL champ, and Variant 2 is for XL champ, so he won't have to worry about his attacks being glanced at all. He's a symbiote, which lets him be brought into Variant 5, which is arguably the smallest pool of champions you can bring in, since it asks for Mystic champions, Spider-Verse, and symbiotes. And lastly, as a villain, as I already mentioned, he can go into Variant 6 without having to worry about any penalties at all. Now, this, from what I remember and what I've done, what I researched, is that there are only 2 other champions that really benefit from this unique overlap of 3 variants. The other 2 are, starting here with 5-star Sentinel. Now, Sentinel is an XL champion, so there he goes into Variant 2. He is also the ideal champion to bring into Variant 3, which favors tech champions, and the global buffs also provide a special benefit only to Sentinel, increasing his damage based on the number of analysis charges that he has on him at the moment. Lastly, as a villain, he will be going to Variant 6. He's also good because he can inflict armor breaks and incinerates on using his Special 1 and Special 2 respectively on his own. So there's some benefit to bringing in your Sentinel for Variant 6 as well. And lastly, Mojo. Mojo is pretty new, so if you don't have him, that's perfectly fine. He is good for Variants 2, 5, and 6 because he is a XL champ, a villain champion, and also a mystic champion. Now the thing about Mojo is that I don't recommend bringing him in unless you're used to his playstyle, and sometimes you may get certain nodes or matchups that make it very difficult for you to be able to charge up Mojo, because he does require a few fights to ramp up. So if you can bring him in, but just be sure that you are comfortable with playing Mojo, as he is not as simple as to use as Venom and Sentinel. And with that really wraps up my 3 champions that benefit, that are good for 3 variants, as well as for the main topic of Venom in general. So if you want to rank up Venom, go ahead. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you like this video, then like it, and don't forget to subscribe for more video content of me discussing topics about MCOC, as well as doing crystal opening videos, because I will be opening the featured 6-star crystals soon, as well as the greater gifting crystals once the gifting event comes in. So thank you for watching, and I will see you again soon.